Good afternoon, folks, from Leadville, Colorado, which is such a cute town. It is just chock full of old Victorian buildings from back in the heyday, but we're not staying. I'm driving through here to get some gas. It just so happens that Leadville is the highest elevation town in North America. I think in all of North America. For sure in the United States. Leadville was built on gold and silver back in the 1800s, and that went bust. Kind of the most prominent feature of Leadville is something that you won't actually see in town, which is the Climax Mine, which as you're coming into town, you drive by it for miles. It's huge, gigantic molybdenum mine. And that is what provided most of the income for this town for a long, long time. But then in the 1980s, there was a crash in the molybdenum market. I don't know what makes molybdenum go up and down in value, but I guess in the 80s, the market crashed and the mine basically closed. The town was pretty devastated by that. There was a ton of environmental cleanup, and I guess the molybdenum market went back up, and now the Climax mine is producing again, and I guess it produces some ridiculous amount of molybdenum, like 30 million tons a year or something like that, like a whole lot. Nowadays, a pretty big source of revenue in Leadville is tourism, because you just really couldn't pick a better spot to put a cute little Victorian town. But in any case, we're not sticking around. We are headed out of town to Mosquito Pass. And I missed my turn, so we're headed back up the road. And if you're new to the channel and wondering who I am, I'm Katie. That's Tuck. And we're going on adventures and bringing you guys along with us. Back in the mining days, and honestly still, the shortest way to get to the next town over, which is Alma, Colorado, is via Mosquito Pass. We are going to be going up and over a pretty darn high mountain pass. I think it's like one of the highest mountain passes that's drivable in the United States. Mosquito Pass is a four-wheel drive road. It's a relatively easy four-wheel drive road. It has a couple of shelby portions and a few little rocky portions, but it's mostly a pretty chill drive. But Tuck is not going to be super happy about all the bumps. We're starting out in real pretty country right off the bat. There are abandoned mines all over the place back this road, and abandoned mining structures, and a telephone line. And in fact, the telephone line was used by early travelers over this pass to keep them on the right path in the wintertime, because this place gets a ton of snow and you can't see the path. Here's a little bit of a roadside mine structure. I have no idea what that might be, but we're going to see a lot of stuff like that, most of which I have no idea what it is. And here's another one. Oh, where are you going? We can't go in there. It says no trespassing. I guess ore would be sent down those chutes into trucks or something. But we're going to see a whole lot of mining structures, because there's something like 14,000 mines in this area. I mean, there's a lot. And somebody strung up a pair of shoes on that telephone line. That structure looks more modern. I don't know what it is, except for that it has to do with mining, but it looks more modern. Good boy. We'll get you out of the car as much as possible to let you run around and alleviate some of the bumps. It is so good to be back in the Jeep and on the trail, even if it's just for a day. It feels good. You can see a lot of the mining stuff as we're going uphill. So many mines. And I gotta pay attention to the road now, because it's a little bumpy and rocky here. While this is in no way a hardcore four-wheel drive road, you do have to pay attention. I mean, we'll have to see what it looks like a little further up, but pretty sure this is a road. If you went real slow, you could do it in your Subaru. You'd want to be picking your lines well, but I think it's got high enough clearance. This basin is just so insanely beautiful, and all the wildflowers are blooming. It's a lovely day to be out on the trail. Tuck may disagree about it being a lovely day out on the trail. Yeah, this part's bumpy. There's a whole convoy of vehicles coming down the road. But fortunately, there's enough room right here to pull over for them. And we are officially in 4 low because we're going up and it's pretty rocky. So 4 low allows me just to kind of glide over the rocks. I mean, it's still bumpy. We aren't at the top, but we are up in alpine tundra. It's very breezy up here, in case you're wondering why I haven't been flying the drone. And I haven't been getting out to film the car coming and going very much because it's really steep and there aren't very many good places to stop. But yeah, look at the views out there. Pretty incredible. And Tuck is investigating something. What are you looking for? What are you investigating? Is there something amazing there? Kind of sad we've missed prime time of these flowers. They're called Old Man on the Mountain, and they're a big, beautiful yellow sunflower, but these are past its prime. In case you were wondering, this is the first episode in what will probably be multiple episodes of exploring Colorado. And if you're wondering why I started right here, well, it's because I've been hiking the Colorado Trail, as you may know, and where I'm hiking it is right back there. That's where I'm at on the Colorado Trail, in those mountains. And I figured it would be a good place to start doing our Colorado exploration via the Jeep too. We are not going to be hiking the next section of the Colorado Trail probably for a little bit because of what you may be able to see out there, which is wildfires. A big wildfire. That is the Willow Fire just outside of Leadville. And the Willow Fire has totally closed sections 9 and 10 of the Colorado Trail. And it's blowing smoke into 11 and 12 and the Collegiate West 1, which is the next section that I plan to do. So I'm kind of waiting for that to die down a bit before I hop back on the trail. Let's check out the view over here. We drove up the hill past those 2 lakes, and man, you can see all the mining stuff on that mountain right there. So much. And this is just a beautiful little mid-mountain point that we've stopped at. You ready to get back in the car? Maybe not 100% ready to get back in the car, but you probably will because you're a good boy. There you go. Good boy. Who's the bestest boy? Is that Tuck? You know, you're looking around for somebody else? Oh, my eyes are watering from the wind. It is quite breezy. Man, feels good out here. Feels really good. Oh, I heard a pika. I can't really stop to show you guys the pika. There's a pika in the rocks right there. This part is requiring close attention because it is going to be off camber with big rocks sticking out of it. And we are going down to 4 low first gear from 4 low second gear. Because I want to be precise with this. That was a little puckering, but I mean, it wasn't really dangerous because you're far enough away from the rollover edge, but you could flop, and that would kind of ruin your day. I'm really just hoping my forward-facing camera is actually working because this is quite beautiful and quite steep up. Back in the day, when people were walking their burros and skiing across this pass to get from town to town, there was a Methodist priest. They called him Father Dyer. Okay, that is a pretty good switchback there with some technical difficulty. There I am just chatting away, not paying that much attention to the fact that we came to another switchback. That one you definitely couldn't do in your Subaru. Maybe going downhill, maybe. I am not encouraging people to take their Subarus up here, by the way. But I know somebody has. There for sure, somebody has brought their Subaru up here. Father Dyer was a Methodist minister, and I guess they don't call Methodist ministers father, but they called him Father because they were just very fond of him. He was a Methodist minister who served the mining camps in the area, and I guess there's not a whole lot of money in ministry, and so he took up a postal route, and his postal route was from Leadville to Alma, which is where we're going, over Mosquito Pass. And he was known for skiing across it in the wintertime to deliver the mail. That's pretty incredible. It's amazing that he didn't die. It's a little cloudy out there and a little windy, but as far as days in the high mountains go, this is a pretty nice day. I think I found a place out of the way where those guys can get by me. This is a narrow section and a steep drop-off. So I am paying attention and not holding my camera in my hand to show you guys the beautiful view, because it is gorgeous. And there's some kind of really sticking up rocks in the road that you don't want to have them throw you off camber and off the side of the hill. Bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. This is my bumpy road song. We hit a bump and another bump, and here comes a big bump right there. Okay, this section would be unpleasant in a Subaru, even coming down, because it's rocky and it has kind of whoop-de-doos. So yeah, maybe don't bring your Subaru. I mean, if you care that it retains its undercarriage, don't bring your Subaru. That is actually kind of a steep little quick switchback with bumps. We are on a narrow part again. It's time for me to pay attention. How you doing, little buddy? You doing okay? It's not as bad now. It's not. Oh. Oh. And I can't stop so much, but that's one of my favorite thistles. Thistles are generally the bane of my existence, but the native thistles are a beautiful sight to behold. We probably aren't going to want to dawdle too long up here with the storms rolling in. It is a little unnerving to have this blind curve right ahead where I can't see if anybody's coming, and there's only room for one car max. And I think Tucka's doing pretty good because we're going real slow in 4 low, and I've got the sway bar disconnected. So right now it's actually a pretty smooth ride. I mean, relatively speaking. But would you look at that? And we've made it to the top of the pass. And it's really windy and a bit chilly. And look at the beautiful mountain buttercups. Do you like the beautiful mountain buttercups, Tuck? We are not going to dawdle because the storm's coming in and we need to get off this high point. The road should be much easier going down. For one, it's just less rugged on this side. And 2, you're going down. I'm hoping it'll be a little less windy on this side. I mean, once we get a little lower in elevation. It's kind of crazy that there's only a few little snow patches left up here. You are doing so good. You are a champ. And yeah, I really need to clean my windshield. I just saw a couple of marmots dive into these rocks. But I don't know if I can potentially catch them on film. While I was looking at marmots, I didn't even see that columbine. Oh, it's lovely. Back to the road, which is a little rocky right here. Oh, there's a pika. He's gonna be so darn, oh, he just dived under the rock. Oh, there he is. He's there. His head is poking up. There he goes, little pika. 2 wildlife today. Marmots and pikas. I'm sorry you didn't get to see the marmots. Maybe some more will pop up down the road. I love marmots. They're just such cuddly looking critters, even though I'm sure they would bite you. But they look cuddly. I am in 4 low again. I technically don't really need it in this section, but it is better to go down steep stuff in 4 low than it is to be like having to put on your brakes. You know what this looks like? This looks like Alaska on the north slope. And I suppose it's very similar territory. I just didn't know that Alaska looked like this until I actually went to Alaska. Okay. Now that we're off the top, it's a little bit warmer and a little less breezy down here. And we've got a couple of high alpine lakes out there. And this cool mountain right here. We will be heading around one more tight little corner there, and then I think we'll be in the open more. And I just heard a pika make pika noises down in those rocks. They're cool. They're little mountain very special mountain little rodent things. Although I guess they're not technically a rodent. Yeah, all right, you ready to get back in the car? Good boy. And I think that storm is coming over the pass now, so it's a good thing that we have gotten off the pass. The wind just picked up very suddenly as I got back into the car. Now it is time for us to very slowly make our way around this corner, because this is another one where I can't see what's coming. Now, we are not here on a weekend, so this is not a high traffic day, but there are people on the trail. Maybe 10. I've counted maybe 10 so far. That's a fair number. But I'm pretty sure after we get off of this little hill that the road will widen up so that we won't be at risk of running into other vehicles. And that's really off camber. I don't know if you can tell how far I'm leaning. Again, not a danger of rolling down the hill right here when you go off camber, but you could flop if you went too far. I don't know if my mic is picking up all the little chirps, but there are pikas chirping all over the place, every direction. But we have stopped at the North London Mine, which is a mine from the late 1800s, way up here in the mountains. I think it was gold and silver. Or maybe it was just silver. I don't know. And there are some remains of mining equipment. I don't know what these big things were. It was big. This was an Ingersoll Rand Imperial Type 10. That doesn't tell me much. It's a big machine of some kind. And a big pipe. I mean, how would they have gotten all of this stuff up here back in the day? Wagons, horse-drawn wagons, mule-drawn wagons? That would be my guess. That looks like an old mine shaft, or what was once an old mine shaft. Could you imagine being a miner here back in the day? I assume they had to halt mining in winter. I'm just assuming that. So I'm not exactly sure which mountain is London Mountain. I think it might be that one, but I don't know for sure. They began tunneling in the north side of London Mountain in 1874. 6 years later, so 1880, they found enough gold, silver, and lead to make a handsome return on their investment. Mountains on the opposite side of the mountain were even more profitable. I think it's got to be that mountain. So there's a tunnel that goes all the way through that mountain to the other side. So yeah, crazy. The Mosquito Pass Wagon Road Company transported as many as 50 passengers per day, each direction over the pass. And that picture shows that happening in winter. This building was the North London boarding house. And those are its remains over there. Not much left of it. I forgot about the aerial tramway. I wonder if that equipment back there is part of the aerial tramway. Are you a good boy? Let's go check this out. The aerial tramway carried ore from the mines on the mountainside down to this more accessible area. And I wonder if that equipment is part of it. It could be. Here is what remains of part of the North London mine. Given the very harsh weather conditions up here, I mean, at Mosquito Pass, we were at 13,000 feet. I don't know, we've got to be at least at 12,000 feet right here. There's pretty harsh weather. It's amazing that any of this survives. It's kind of fallen down, so we're not going to go exploring too close. Given that I see cables, big steel cables coming out of that building, I'm going to assume that that building was actually part of the tramway. Pretty cool. And just pretty amazing to be standing here. Even though this is close to home and I'm not in some crazy exotic location, it's pretty neat that this exists close to home. You want a cookie? There you go, good boy. If I look way down there where the telephone line is going, I can see what is probably tramway poles. So the tramway must have come all the way up here. I was thinking it came from top of the mountain down, but it looks like it came from down there to up here. And there are just little roads going all over the place here because of all the mining. And you can see down in the valley toward Fairplay. This would be an absolutely delightful place to stop and have lunch. If only I had thought to bring some lunch with me. I will have to remember to do that next time. This is not the only high alpine pass and high alpine valley that you can drive a Jeep to in Colorado. And in fact, as pretty as it is, it's not the prettiest either. Those are actually down in the San Juan Mountains in kind of southwesternish Colorado. Just some of the most spectacular mountains you will ever see. But you know, this is pretty nice. I am in too low and just letting the Jeep and gravity take us down the hill. It's still pretty bumpy. But if you ever wonder why it's called rock crawling, it's because if you're doing it right, you're crawling along at a pretty low speed. And you don't know if you can tell. This is how fast we're going right now. All right, we're speeding up around the corner, and I think we're out of the super rock crawly stuff. In other words, I think I can take it out of for low. Given how dry it has been in Colorado, it is really nice to see some puddles in the mountains. It did rain a little bit last night, which helped that willow fire not be quite so horrendous today. But it's been a dry summer, spring and summer, and winter. That does not bode well for outdoor activities in Colorado this summer. And Utah's on fire. I don't know the status of Wyoming right now, but from my understanding, they had a pretty darn dry winter too. So yeah, fire. All those wildfires make hiking not so awesome because it really bites to be hiking when you're breathing in all the smoke the whole way. And you're taking very deep breaths because you can't breathe and you're exercising. So probably the fires are going to curtail some of my hiking this summer. And that's just the way it goes. We are at the bottom of the hill, and you can see the main portion of the North London mine down there. It's all private property, so you can't go explore it. And you can see the aerial tramway going up the mountain. And where we were was way up there. So I guess the mines are up there, and they brought the ore down here for processing. And then from there, they would have transported whatever valuable ore they had into town down this much nicer portion of road. And it probably would have been a nicer portion of road back then too. Hop in. Good boy. It is all easy going downhill from here to Alma. which is the highest municipality in the United States, maybe North America. And I know I just told you that Leadville is the highest town in the United States, but I guess there's two slightly different categories. Alma is not incorporated. Leadville is incorporated. So they both get to claim they're the highest of what they are. They're both pretty high. It's a pretty tiny little place. It's almost a suburb of Fairplay, Colorado, which isn't too far away from Alma. I think it would be quite peaceful and quite cold to live here. I know it's quite cold in Leadville. Pretty sure it's even colder here. But it wouldn't be a bad place to live if you skied a lot, because it's not that far from Keystone and then to Breckenridge, which are ski resorts. So if you skied a lot and didn't have a couple $1,000,000 for a home, this would be a good place. And guys, as we're heading down the road toward Fairplay, which we will visit for sure in a future video because it's kind of a cool, quirky town with some interesting history, I think that's it for today. And I want to thank all of you for coming along with me. It's amazing that you're still coming along with me, and I'm very grateful for it. And we'll see you guys down the road.